Hello and welcome back to the Career Mode series. Today we're at Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix. And we're going to cut on to our first flying lap in Q1, which puts us into P3 and gets us into Q2. And now cutting to our lap in Q2, which puts us P4 and into Q3. Now cutting to our first lap into Q3, and that puts us P4, but we're going to go for another lap to try and improve further. Now cutting on to that lap, and that lap puts us into P6 on the grid.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. It was a good showing from Red Bull in qualifying, and Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Rosberg, Sebastian Vettel, and a Toro Rosso, Button, Bottas, Massa, and Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Perez, Roman Grosjean, and Gutierrez, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, Rio Haryanto, and Pascal Wehrlein, Magnussen and Palmer, Marcus Ericsson, and Felipe Nasser starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
And it is 5 red lights for the Austrian Grand Prix, and away we go. Looks like we've not had a good start compared to the people ahead of us, but it's going to be 3 wide going into turn 1 as we go side by side with Jenson Button as we go into the slipstream of Sebastian Vettel, as we get a good run down to turn 2 as the Mercedes and Verstappen go 3 wide going into turn 2, and we're going to go up the inside of Sebastian Vettel, and we're going to get a good run on Nico Rosberg going down the back straight, and we've gone up into P4, and can we challenge for P3 or possibly even P2 going down into turn 3? We don't challenge for the position, and we hold it for P4 for the moment. And now we're going to cut on to the start of lap 3 as we get a good run on Verstappen out of turn 1, and we're going to look to overtake the Dutchman going into turn 2. Can we make the move stick? As we go down into turn 2, he goes up the inside, but we get a good traction out of turn 2, and that has sealed the move for us into P3 for the moment. But we're going to cut to lap 7, so we're going to come into the pits for a set of soft tyres as we get a bit held up, and Max Verstappen has jumped us in the pit lane. But we're going to cut to lap 8 as we get a good run on Vettel and Nasser going out of turn 1 and into turn 2. Can we hold it round the outside? I think we can, and yes, we have made it into P15 for the moment. But we're going to cut on to lap 9, and the virtual safety car has been deployed, and Jenson Button is out of this race. I wonder what's happened. Let's see as they go 3 wide into turn 1, and he just clips Vettel's back wheel, and then Raikkonen comes in and smashes him and completely puts him out of the race. As we're going to cut on to the virtual safety car restart, and there's an engine smoking up ahead. Who is that? And it's Lewis Hamilton, but Gutierrez is also out of this race. So first let's see what's happened to Gutierrez. We're going on to a replay, and it's also an engine blow up for Gutierrez. So that is 2 simultaneous engine blow ups just at the safety car restart. We're going to take a look at a replay of Lewis Hamilton's engine blow up, and he is just going to park it to the right here, and that is very disappointing for the Mercedes driver. And now we're going to cut to lap 10 as Verstappen is going to look up the inside of Pascal Wehrlein going into the penultimate corner as he makes the move stick, and now we're going to try and look to overtake the Manor driver going down the main straight. As we open the DRS, it is side by side going into turn 1, and we overtake him going into turn 1, and now we're going to try and look to catch up to Verstappen. And now, cutting to lap 12, as we're right on the back of Verstappen, and we dive it up the inside, and we're also going to go up the inside of Nico Rosberg as we get a bit of oversteer there, as Raikkonen sets the fastest lap of the race. But we're going to cut to lap 13, and we're going to go up the inside of Kevin Magnussen, going into turn 1, and he keeps it around the outside, and we're going to get a drag race up to turn 2 as we overtake the runner driver. But we're going to cut to the end of lap 13 now, and we're going to go up the inside of Rio Haryanto, going into the penultimate corner, and we make the move stick going into the last corner. And now we're going to cut to lap 14 as we get DRS on Jolene Palmer going into turn 3, and we go up the inside and we just avoid the contact there. And now we're going to cut to the end of lap 14 as we've opened the DRS on Marcus Ericsson going into turn 1, and we get a bit of contact there which puts us a wee bit wide and maybe hinders our exit a wee bit as well. And now we're going to go down into turn 2. We're going to be under pressure from Nico Rosberg, it looks like, as he goes up the inside of us going into turn 2. But we're going to try the switch back, but get a massive slap of oversteer. We go on opposite lock, and now we're going to cut to lap 16 as we get the DRS on Nico Rosberg, but we're not going to make the dive up the inside as we probably usually would, and we're actually going to think ahead and think we can actually stay with Nico Rosberg here, and we actually do have the pace to stay with him, so we're going to use the DRS to close up to him, and that's going to be, in the long term, faster than just battling it out with the Mercedes driver as we get the DRS there. But now he's actually going to go into the pit lane, so now we're going to have to push hard to stay quick, but we might come under pressure from the Red Bull of Max Verstappen as our engineer talks to us about strategy. But Verstappen goes up the inside into turn 1, and we're actually going to use Verstappen like we were going to use Rosberg, just sitting behind him, not wasting time battling it out over a silly position, as we actually do have the pace to stay with these drivers. As we know, we're going to get the DRS, but we're not going to look to overtake Verstappen down into turn 3 here, as we close up using the DRS and a bit of slipstream. And we actually go off the power a wee bit if you look at the bottom right of the screen. And now we're going to cut to lap 24, and as you can see, we've lost the DRS range of Verstappen, but Felipe Nasr is out of the race. So let's see what's happened to the Sauber driver here. We look at the replay now, and it is an engine blowout for the Brazilian, not how he would have wanted his race to end, and that is very disappointing for him as the Red Bull goes past. But we cut on to lap 26, and we're going to come on for a set of super soft tyres, and there's nobody around us in the pits. And now we're going to cut to lap 27 as we get a good run on Nico Hulkenberg going out of the first corner. And we're going to go a drag race into turn 2, and we're going to be up the inside into the second corner, and we're also going to get DRS on Valtteri Bottas for this lap. But we're going to cut on to lap 28, we get the DRS on Valtteri Bottas, and we go up the inside into turn 1, and that's quite a simple move for us there. But we're going to cut to lap 30, and just as we catch Sebastian Vettel, he goes into the pits for another pit stop as we just get the DRS here. But now we're going to take a look just up the road, and in the battle for second place is Max Verstappen and our teammate Carlos Sainz, who has made one less pit stop than everyone else and has got himself into this position, and he's going to tuck in behind our teammate, but he's going to come out of the slipstream, and Verstappen is going to go up the inside going to turn 2, and Verstappen looks like he has made the move into second position, and that is a good move for the Dutchman. But we're going to cut to the checkered flag and a 4th place for us, but a 3rd place for our teammate Carlos Sainz. If you did enjoy this episode of the Career Mode series, do leave a like, share the video around, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more F1 videos, including this series and the Sergio Perez career. So I'll see you next time for that, and goodbye.